So, John, thank you so much for coming on. First of all, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Where do we start? Do we want in terms of where you and I met, or you want the whole shebang?
In terms of where you and I met.
Okay, I am a medical massage therapist. If you look that up, there's really no such thing as, but what I bill that as is normal massage therapy is what me and my colleagues would call fluff massage, kind of like you would get at a spa or on a cruise ship or that kind of thing. And what medical massage entails is a lot more anatomical knowledge and knowledge on how to heal and help people with anatomical issues that they might have. Where you and I met was at a dissection class in Colorado, and my first one after being a massage therapist for 10 years was a 3-week class in San Francisco where they had 50 people from all over the world and 12 cadavers, and it just set my world on fire when I could see what was going on inside the body and see the things on the inside of the body that I'd been touching on the outside of the body for 10 years. My head just exploded. Through that, I made a lot of connections with people. We all kind of spidered out into the world and have kept in touch, and that eventually led me to Colorado Springs, the lab in Colorado Springs, where my partner and I kind of teamed up and hitched our wagons to them as seeing their potential as far as what they could do with the work that we were doing. So I keep close tabs on James and Kelly and what they do out there, and love to check in every once in a while, and you happen to be in a class I was in at the same time.
So you've been a medical massage therapist for how many years?
This year is 19. Next year will be 20 years.
And you were in a completely different profession before us. So you were in corrections. You were a corrections officer.
I worked for a sheriff department. San Bernardino County is the biggest county in the United States. I worked for that sheriff department initially as a cook in the jail. So I was a chef for almost 20 years, and the end of my career ended in jail. But on the side, it was cooking for the inmates.
Right.
A side story, I met my wife there, so we love to tell people we met in jail. She was working also. And then from there, I got really tired of working graveyards and working in a jail. And I kind of fell into the idea that massage might be a thing I want to do. It's given me kind of a leg up in the world that I work in. A lot of times massage therapists won't have the ability to see a cadaver. I've been fortunate enough to not only see a cadaver that has been fixed or embalmed, they also have cadaver work dissection classes on bodies that have not been embalmed. They last a lot less. You get about 4 or 5 days on working on that body. And then I've also, because I work for the coroner's office, also been in morgue where they're doing autopsies, and that body was alive yesterday. So it's a fresh cadaver that was just alive yesterday. And that vast differences in the tissues between those 3 types of bodies, and being able to put that together in my head and work on a live body, seeing the things that you've seen in the deceased bodies, kind of helps people get better when I work on them.
So you've gone to how many dissection workshops, including the one that we attended back in March?
Ooh, that one was probably maybe 8. Probably got about 800 hours, maybe 800 to 1,000 hours a month and a half that I got to work with one of my partners who lives in England, named William Baker, and we had a lab. We rented a lab for a month and a half and did a lot of filming in 2021, right after COVID.
What do you think it is that keeps you coming back to these workshops? Because, body is a body is a body.
You can say that because the parts are all the same, but none of them are exactly the same. Always something different to learn in these, and it's good practice to get in there and look at one. I was just talking to somebody this morning about the fascinating things for me are seeing hardware, back injuries with hardware, or knees and hips and shoulders. I've seen a deep brain stimulator. I've seen heart valves. There's always, it's very interesting to see that. And then when you get somebody who actually has that stuff, you know exactly what that looks like. That's pretty interesting too. And you can always see different things as far as how bone grafts to different equipment or how a knee is attached to the bone and the muscles. There's always interesting things to see.
So in this particular workshop, I remember the first day we were in the briefing room and you were talking, you were getting a little bit choked up. I recall that. Do you remember that?
Like I do.
What was going on?
I don't remember specifically what. I get choked up a lot when I start talking about. I get very grateful when I start talking about this stuff.
Okay, so you got a little bit choked up. So you get choked up because there's a dead person in the room and you're paying homage to that person in a way?
A very humbling experience.
Why so?
They literally gave their life so that we could learn. I mean, that's a big deal. It's an honor that somebody would do that for us. They don't know us.
And when you saw the donor, what was the first thing that went through your mind when you saw her?
I don't have a memory of that.
Was there any kind of defining moment that stood out for you when you were dissecting the donor's body?
The lab that we went to, they get all mixed together. She had a knee, right? There was a knee replacement?
Right, yes, there was a knee replacement, and I think...
You know what, there was something very interesting about her in particular. There was a long discussion about the differences in muscle structure in the hamstrings, and that's what led to the discovery of that knee. There were two different muscle structures in both legs because one clearly had a bad knee and she'd been dragging that leg.
So when you go to these cadaver dissection workshops, how does the information inform your practice as a massage therapist?
Well, certainly if I ever have anybody with a knee replacement, that will be a vivid picture for me to check and see if I can feel a difference between muscle structures. And would certainly be, it gives me a lot of areas to work on if somebody ever has that particular surgical replacement in their body.
What is the age of the youngest donor that you've ever worked on?
Oh, I'm not sure I can answer that. Maybe, I want to say maybe late 50s, I think.
Is donation something you would consider doing yourself?
I would, absolutely.
And that is because?
Give back to what was given to me. Basically pay it forward.
And so how would you describe the workshop that we attended?
Very informative, very respectful, enlightening.
And in what way was it enlightening?
Well, it's a whole new set of eyes.
Right. So John, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think every massage therapist should do this.
So they can learn more about the body, how the body mechanics work.
Absolutely. It's an invaluable experience for anybody that does body work or movement.
So what would you say to somebody who feels queasy? When you tell people that you like to go to dissection workshops, how do they respond to you?
You know, there's no middle ground on this. They either absolutely think it's the coolest thing ever or they want nothing to do with it.
But we're all going to end up...
That's right. My wife would be the second one. She doesn't want to hear anything about these classes.
But I think the whole thing is fascinating. I didn't know how I was going to feel. For me, the big challenge was, first of all, getting used to the altitude. That was one thing. And then, and then being there with the body. Because I think more people should be going to these because I think it gives them more of an appreciation of life. Do you think so?
I agree.
And so what?
Yeah, I mean it's part of the experience. It's part of the experience, and 100% of the people who hear this interview are going to die. We should learn to embrace it instead of have so many taboos about it. You know.
Can you just tell me again the 3 stages you were talking about earlier?
There are cadavers that have been embalmed, and usually those are frozen, so the tissues get condensed. There are cadavers that have not been embalmed, and we call them fresh, and those dissection classes take a lot less time because there's decomposition. And then I have seen bodies that were just literally alive the day before, and in various stages of death, because it was a coroner's office for the sheriff's department. So they could have been indigent and died in a field, or it could have been a homicide, or it could have been a suicide, or a car accident. Various stages of death, but very fresh, with no changes in them medically, as far as you would see like a regular dissection. So I've had the benefit of seeing a lot of different bodies in those stages.
When you do a dissection, seeing that you're in the presence of someone who is no longer among us, the soul's not there anymore, how do you sort of, reconstitute after, being in the lab all day long? What do you do to, center yourself and come back to the lab?
Great question. It's a great question. In the first class I went to with Gil, we were all in San Francisco. There were 50 of us, like I said. On day 2 or 3, he gathered us together and he said, look, the second layer, when you get into the second layer of adipose, or what the general public calls fat, it's very yellowy. It's got a specific color to it. And on day 2 or 3, you're right there looking at that color all day. And his point to us that day was, you've been looking at this color and smelling formaldehyde all day, and we need what he called a state change. And we literally, like kindergartners, all held hands and walked up the street and around the corner and laid in the park, kind of all catty corner on top of each other, like in a big pile, and just watched the clouds roll by and felt the grass and touched the trees and petted puppies and just kind of talked, and totally changed our state of mind to get back into the living, which is what one should do when you do that kind of class.
And what else would you recommend that people do after being in that situation all day? Because, coroners are looking at the dead pretty much, all day long.
Individuals are going to vary for sure. I think reconnecting with what's going on with you at the time that you're not working would be the number one thing. Grounding. Even people who don't do this work should be doing it. At the end of the day, stop what you're doing, ground, get back to living your life and being present.
When the day comes when you're not longer here, you would definitely donate your body then?
I would. I've thought about it, absolutely. Or I wouldn't mind being a mushroom or a tree.
Okay.
They got that going on now too.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add?
I think this covers it pretty good. You ask good questions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, John. And I really appreciate your time. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.